Hello, hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will be talking about prototyping and the progress that I've made until it becomes this pro design thing that we did. So, from previous matters, the start of the zine was really hard for me to understand because I had a hard time folding it as per previous experiences. I did not know how to properly fold this, and that's why I think that prototyping is very important, because with things that you don't understand, when you prototype them, you'll find out the entire scope of how things are supposed and meant to work. And when you prototype, it becomes easier for you to understand the things that you don't understand. And when you succeed, you're able to produce the product that you want. So this was my first try on the proto design. I did the design on the laptop, but through various feedbacks from the lecturers and friends, I've found that using gradients and very bold and not really contrasting colors has a bad effect on print. And when it has a bad effect on print, it cannot be produced flexibly or very mass produced with any type of printer. So what we want is something that is suitable for any type of printer, so that when they print it out, it's still the design still becomes legible, no matter what color palette it is. So I chose a much more monochromatic palette as per the lecturer's suggestion, using black and white and just one color out of everything to kind of really make a design that is much more legible and much more easy to reproduce. And with this design, it is much more easier to read as well, because it is print. So this is something that I started to discern as well, is that the difference between print and screens. With screens, we were told to never use full white or full black, because it becomes too much, too overwhelming, because the color is too dominant. But with print, we actually want to have these full white or full black colors, because they're the colors that are most legible when it comes to readability and things like that. So that is something I've discovered as well, is the difference between screens and print. And so a very helpful thing that I understood. And with that, I started to play with the designs a bit, and I chose to use typography and do the lettering in between the U and the N, or playing with typography and doing patterns and stuff, because the whole concept of design book I'm trying to do is to use patterns that seemingly are disconnected but connected in some way. So that was the problem with this one. See, with per lecturer's feedback, I had just a couple of random shapes which were not really connected in any way, and just basically just there because I just wanted it to be there. And so it went against my theme, so I decided that I needed to change a lot of the things. So I made a new design with much more aesthetically pleasing colors and better patterns that makes sense, and as well as fixing spacings between the typography as well. So I had the two circles in here to represent the Venn diagram, to represent the unity in between this connection. And as well as this one, I've incorporated the S right here in between closure. And because our mind, the definition of closure is that our mind fills in the gaps for things that seem incomplete with the basis of information that we have previously known about. So I think this is a wonderful way to incorporate the pattern with the text, and that is something that I think is really important to understand, is the meaning of text and what your design means. So the lecturer also gave me feedback about that the design should not should always mean something. It cannot not mean anything, because design has to have a motivation, it has to have a meaning. So there's this one, curiosity, because people's curiosity, they can sometimes go up, they can sometimes go down. And I have added the thin mental boundaries that allow us to be creative, because the thing about ambiguity is it's stated as a mental boundary that creative people has. And I think that that mental boundary is something that is positive, because when we have those mental boundaries, it allows us to explore more things and allows us to be more curious about stuff like that. And brings me to the last page of the proto design poster, which is the whole premise of this entire course: prototyping, testing, reiterating. The most important part of these is testing, because without testing, I wouldn't even know how to even fold this in the first place. And when we test and when we reiterate, we find that when we unfold everything, it becomes an entirely new poster. It's a cool thing that I think is really good to learn about, the idea of prototyping and how you could this booklet in general is a cool idea. And I think that prototyping is an important part and an integral part in our design learning, and I think that it should be learned more, and to be able to enhance our future careers, and to be able to actually because without testing, we aren't able to innovate anymore. And with testing, multiple testing, we create something that progresses much more well than just not doing testing at all, which I'm trying to get better at. It's trying to do iterations and not trying to be so perfect in order to achieve the final product without any previous errors or things like that. I've found that errors help you learn, and when you learn, you create a better product than before. So yeah, I think that with testing, we've created a better product and a better design in general. So I think that is the lesson to be learned every time, is to take errors and learn from it and prototype it to make a better product. Thank you.